All right. Great. Sorry about that, everyone. Just wanted to record this session just in case if I have any no-shows, it's much easier just to give a recording. So now to follow by the drop deadline, which is very important as well. The last day to drop a class is April 28th, 2023. So you're going to want to make sure to drop that course if you're not doing well, getting that C or better. If you are accepted to the professional major and your GPA can't handle a C and you would fall below that 2.75, I recommend dropping that class to save your 2.75 GPA, and we'll deal with retaking that class in the summer, whether it's an option at Parkside, Milwaukee, MATC, or Gateway. So just talk to me because I can definitely help you figure out next steps. You would have to pay the drop fee and you would get a W on your transcript, which means withdraw, but that is going to be better and saving your eligibility than having a lower grade. So those are a few reasons why to drop. And again, this is another little diagram to kind of go over some of those important dates and deadlines. So if you are not on your phone with this call and can open up your phone and go on that Navigate app, you can do this while I'm talking. I just want to make sure you can see where to pull your appointment summaries. So it's going to look like a little toggle here and it's going to be reports. So every time I meet with you, I'm putting in a appointment summary in Navigate. I'm uploading your pre-nursing worksheet and your plan of study. So that's how you can pull it. I recommend logging on to a laptop if you want to pull those Excels off. But you can also view them on your phone. So just make sure you understand how the Navigate works. And just know that I am, every appointment we have, updating notes into that. Also, with the Canvas site, the Canvas site is a nice tool. I hope some of you are reading those announcements that Joy sends out every week. But those announcements are important because those are things that I would typically be emailing you out, but I'm trying to reduce the amount of emails I send you because I know you guys just get hammered between Parkside emails, professor emails, all of that jazz. So we decided to send out a once a week email through Canvas that kind of will go over updates, go over different various postings, announcements, opportunities, stuff of that nature. So I will send out a link after this group advising session today, but most of you should already have this if you've been rolling with me for a little bit. This slide is redundant, but I still have to have it in here because even on this last application round, individuals were not putting their email in correctly. They were forgetting the S on Rangers. So please, please, please make sure you put in your email accurately. It's going to be vital to make sure you're getting communication, make sure you're understanding what you need to do in the expectation. So it's at rangers.uwp.edu. And additionally, I always like to take a moment to spotlight some of the benefits you get as a student with having Amazon Prime be very cheap. I believe it's half off. Unidays, if that's an app that you don't have on your phone yet, definitely download that and activate your account because that's going to give you different types of discounts at, stores. I think when I was a student, I got like 10% off at Aerie or whatever. It was just nice to have, save a little coin, make those dollars stretch further. If we are not friends on Facebook, I'm missing you and you're missing out on my fun, crazy advising life. So I have 257 friends. It's very nice for me to be able to connect with you through this atmosphere. I post reminders, post things I'm not going to typically just send out an email. For instance, I had a job posting from Freighter South a couple weeks ago. And I posted it, and then the recruiter told me she got like 6 applicants, which was really nice and an opportunity for our Parkside students. So if you add me, great. If you don't want to add me, that's completely fine. Or if you don't have a Facebook, you don't need to go make one, but just feel free to add me on Ranger Hillary. And then also on Solar, make sure my name is listed here. For some reason, I've noticed a lot of students aren't having me listed as their advisor in Solar. So just make sure I'm listed there, and that way I know you're getting my emails. If we were all in a room together, I would ask this to you. So what I'm going to ask, instead of, I don't need you guys to unmute. If you don't want to, you can, but in the chat, what is a nurse to you? So if anyone in the chat would just type a few words about what a nurse is to you, that would be great. Making this a little bit more interactive. So someone who cares for people, definitely. I'd like to see a couple more entered in if possible. Someone giving their best quality of care to patients, someone who helps the community hands-on, someone who puts others' needs before their own. All of you are absolutely correct, and I very much appreciate that. And the reason I put this in this PowerPoint is because early on, I want you to understand and know what the UW-Milwaukee core nursing values are. And the reason I say that is because how does collaboration fit into nursing? How does integrity fit into nursing? Everything that everyone has just commented of helping people take care of others, that is all following within these core values. And if you can really understand and dissect these core values by in your CNA job, what is a way that you've showed some social justice? What is a way that you've seen or trying to hold on to diversity or incorporate more diversity into your life? So if you can really come up with a solid definition for these values throughout your duration of the program, you will be very good once it comes to the application of the professional major. So every semester you should be meeting with me one-on-one. Since you guys are all here, I know a lot of people this for some reason this semester haven't showed up to group advising, which is completely not okay, but okay if you know what I mean. You guys are the first ones. Make an appointment on my calendar right now via Navigate for March, April, May. Hopefully you guys will get those March and April spots, but I do fill up pretty quickly. And since you are here at group advising, I didn't send out a campaign or anything, but I will be sending out a campaign in the following week or so, which will then spark a lot of my calendar to fill. So you guys have first shot at my calendar. Come to group advising, which is great. Have me check over your shopping cart and remove your advising hold. So when you come to our meetings together, please have your classes in your cart so then we can just talk about other things, kind of connect, see what's going on. And then also know that getting started guide and how to check your GPAs. So those are some of those expectations that I have for you. When it comes to the pre-nursing, you want to make sure that you can get your CNA. You do not need it for our program. However, it does significantly help. If you do not get it, you can get it after that first semester of the professional major. You just will go ahead and pay for the exam. You do not have to do the actual course because your clinical and all those theory courses counts as that course in the state of Wisconsin, as well as Illinois. So if you do not get your CNA, you can get it after the first semester of the professional major. Oop, I clicked a little too fast. And then your CNA will help you. So if you're a freshman and this summer you're really not taking any classes, I highly recommend getting your CNA because it is going to make sure nursing is something you want to do, but also get your foot in the door within a hospital. So I have a student who just now made in the professional major, but I've known her since she was a freshman. She got her CNA that summer of her freshman year, and then she worked as an OB CNA, working with labor and delivery. Then she became a tech. And as a tech, she was able to, sit in on labor and delivery and provide the, if they're doing a C-section, provide the surgical tools, help and see the doctor catch the baby as a technician. So there's ways to advance before you're even an actual nurse. And then this summer, I'm anticipating she's going to be offered a nursing internship with her unit. So start going, get the ground rolling, because it really will help you in the long run. Job shadowing and seeking leadership opportunities. If you're involved with something on campus like SNAP, that is great. If you're not volunteering right now and know that you need to apply, that is something to really kind of consider. We're not looking at what you did from October to December, which is the application time. We're looking at what have you done over the course of the year. So utilizing your summer, utilizing your winter break. We're looking for that consistent effort. So whether that is dog walking for the Humane Society, or if you are interested in doing Meals on Wheels, those are all things that do work. So I like to kind of go over this timeline. You should be familiar. I do show this at orientation and then also here at group advising, but it does just kind of do a nice job of visualizing and recapping in where you're supposed to be. So most of you are going to be in this 1 to 3 years. It's 2 years if you're on a 4-year plan, 3 years if you're on a 5-year plan. And this green right here is that pre-nursing. So You're working on those prerequisite classes, your general education courses. The application opens up every November and it's due. When is it due? In the chat, can someone put in when the application is due? So it is due January 2nd at 5 p.m. So the 2 and the 5 are correct. Just 5 p.m. on January 2nd. So the day after New Year's, I always recommend getting this in before the holidays so you can really just enjoy some time. But the application will be due January 2nd of every year by 5 p.m. Then once your application is due, as long as your GPAs check out to be that 2.75 GPA for nursing and science, you'll be invited for your in-person essay, which is going to take place on a Saturday up at UW-Milwaukee, and then you'll be invited for your virtual interview. So this week is our virtual interviews for those who applied and plan to start this fall of 2023, which I see some of you on here, and I hope that your interview went well and is going well if it's later today. Then by March, you'll find out if you were accepted. I like to say mid-March, sometime after March 12th. March 12th is my birthday, and we always kind of have our meeting, either right before or right after the 12th. So that's kind of my own rule of thumb. But you will find out very soon. So just about a month or so. I know you're not going to hear much, but just know it will be coming. And then all of your pre-nursing coursework must be completed by the time you start the professional major. So if your GPA falls below that 2.75, you will not be able to start the professional major. If you're decided to drop this, nutrition course and you don't take it over the summer, you will be not able to start the professional major. So some of those things to make sure to talk to me about. Then the professional major is a solid 2 years and it's cohort model. So with it being cohort model, you're in the same set of classes with the same set amount of people. Then you graduate through UW-Milwaukee, and then you take the NCLEX and you become the best RN out there. So to kind of talk a little bit more about that professional major, what's very exciting is it's actually going to change a little bit. So this is one of those new news items that is why I hold group advising, because things are always changing. So this is how it has typically been set up. But this upcoming fall, we are going to add in a third patho and sunset a roles course. So if any of you know, pathopharmacology is going to be one of your hardest courses. I keep clicking and I apologize for that. So pathopharm is really how you're connecting, your anatomy, your chemistry, learning about drugs and how it does affect, your kidney, liver, all different types of things. So with that being said, it's a very intense course and it's a hard course. So we are going to have a professional roles sunset, and we're going to add in a third patho. Not necessarily more information about patho, but it's going to be spread out across 3 semesters over just the 2. So a lot of students are very excited about this new wave, and we are hoping it does help and reduce some of that stress with those 2 courses. But every semester you are going to have a clinical. Your first clinical is going to be pretty basic. You're going to learn that foundation. Since a CNA is not required for our program, it is going to be a little easier if you already have your CNA. You might be even a little bored if I dare say it, but you're going to be working in a nursing home, working on how to move patients, bedside manners, some of those foundational things such as washing hands. Then your second clinical, we're going to get you up and going at a hospital. You're going to be more of a med-surg unit, doing IVs, Band-Aids, all that type of thing. Then your third clinical is going to be a little bit more focused in that population health. A fun fact is that over 50% of nurses actually don't work in a hospital. So with that being said, what does that other 50% do? They're working in schools, they're working for the county, they're working for the health department. So there's a lot of different roles that nurses play that just aren't taking care of patients bedside. And then lastly is your last semester. And we really, really try to get you into a clinical that excites you, that energizes you. So if you're really interested in OB, if you're interested in the women's health concept, if you're interested in cardio, surgical, ICU, we try to get you in one of those placements that you are interested in to joining in your professional specialty. However, just know that I have 8 clinical spots per site. So if I have 12 students who are interested in labor and delivery, I'm only going to be able to put the 8 people in. So I like to say that as a disclaimer, but we really do strive to get you in your top pick. As far as clinical sites, we do keep you in the area. So we keep you from a 45-minute radius from campus. So with that being said, if you're from Gurnee, Illinois, or if you're coming from Salem, Wisconsin, you may have an hour to get to your clinical, potentially. If it's in, Racine, it's a 45-minute radius from Parkside's campus. So that is something to just be mindful of. We put you as far as South Milwaukee and as close as Racine, Kenosha, Union Grove. So we really try to keep you close. And then at Parkside, the program is only full-time. So I don't have any part-time options for the professional major. And we admit 32 to 40 students each fall semester. And that's dependent on how many clinical sites we're able to obtain. So admission is competitive and not guaranteed. However, don't let that distract you, because as long as you are pulling a 2.75 GPA, you are eligible to apply, and I'm going to encourage you to apply. So we'll vibe through this pretty quick, because I do know that you guys all have had this sheet at one point or another. So you need your math and you need your English. Without getting a C or better in Math 111 or Math 104, English 100 or 101, you won't be able to progress. So that's going to be really important. We need at least a C in those courses. Otherwise, it can really kind of extend your plan of study. When it comes to the nursing prerequisite coursework, all of these courses are what make up your pre-nursing GPAs. You need at least a 2.75 nursing and a 2.75 science, and a C or better in all classes. If you earn a C- or lower in any of these courses, you'll have to repeat the course, and you're only allowed to repeat a total of 2 courses and each course 1 time. So if you failed Psychology 101 and then you retook it and failed it again, you're ineligible. If you failed Psychology 101, passed it the time you retook it, that's okay. Then you failed anatomy and had to take anatomy, that's fine. You're at your 2 repeats. But if things got a little hairy in microbiology, you would then be ineligible for our program because you already used up your 2 repeats. So this is something where that withdrawal period can come into play to save you as an option, but it's something you need to kind of think about, know about, and plan for. All right, so all of you are given a plan of study, and this plan of study is really important because this is how you know everything that you need to know. And I give this to you right at the start of the professional program, or right at the start of your pre-nursing program, actually. So you will know when you're applying to the professional program, you'll kind of have some little tips and tricks of what you should be doing in those time periods. So something that to be mindful of is pull this off and Navigate and keep it. And if you're going to change this, talk to me, because nursing 251, for example, is only offered in spring. So if you drop it this spring and decide you're going to take it in fall, well, that's not going to be an option for you. So we have to plan things accordingly. So you know what classes you're taking in exactly what order. This next worksheet is your pre-nursing worksheet, and this worksheet is really helpful because it does go over what prerequisites you need for the class. So for instance, when I have you not taking anatomy till your second year, your second fall semester, it's because we like you to have chemistry first, and I can't get you into chemistry without math. So there is a little bit of a reason behind my madness. And additionally, like I just mentioned earlier, when the class is offered, that's important to also acknowledge. So all of these courses in this pink box are what make up your pre-nursing GPA, and you need at least a 2.75. But then, because we are in the STEM field and we want to make sure you're going to be able to handle the rigor of the professional major, this green box, which are highlighting the 7 science courses, those classes essentially kind of double dip because they count for that pre-nursing GPA, but then we also extract them and use them for their science GPA on their own. And you need to C or better in all courses. The sheet is also on Navigate, so you can pull this off and kind of punch in what grades you need on your own, as it is a fillable sheet. We're always shooting for a B or better, and I want you guys to keep that in the back of your mind, mainly because a B or better is going to be a solid 3.0, and if you think about it, you need at least a 2.75. So if you're on that track for a 3.0, that's going to be pretty good. Assuming you're going to sprinkle some A's in there, you could be at that competitive nature of a 3.3 or higher. So a 2.75 is eligible. A 3.3 or higher is what we deem as a competitive applicant. But at the very minimum, you need a C. If you get anything less than a C, that's when you get into a little bit of trouble and have to retake. But it does not count for those art classes, humanity classes, foreign language classes, or even the history course. Those courses, I just need you to pass with a D or better. They still will hurt your overall cumulative GPA, which can affect you scholarship-wise. But as far as nursing, I can still accept that credit and mark it off as complete. This is another component that I really am pretty harsh on sometimes, is because it's way easier, and I know this from experience in my life as well, that it's way easier to have a plan B before you need it. So if you aren't going to get into the program, or you're feeling like your GPA is a little too close, what are you going to do if you don't get accepted for the term you're applying for, or the term that you want to apply for? So, are you going to go to Gateway? Are you going to go get your ADN? Are you going to then come back to me for your BSN completion? Are you wanting to add on a minor and apply again the next year and do some GPA reconstruction with me? So there's different options, but talk to me. And if this is a priority to you, and if you are like, I don't have a plan B, make sure that's a priority in our next meeting to go over. Now, most of you should have seen this rubric as well. As the transparent advisor I strive to be, I like to give this to you from day one. And the reason a 3.3 is deemed as competitive is because it's going to get you into that exceeding standard zone. But what I love about our application is that it's holistic, which means half of it is really based on that black and white grades. We want to make sure you're going to excel in our program. But the other half is, what else are you doing on your professional journey to become a nurse? So your life experience, work experience, leadership experience, if you're on SNAP, if you're on the board of SNAP, or even Habitat for Humanity, all these different things, they do matter and they will help you. If you're working at Taco Bell and you become a shift lead, or you're trusted to come to register every night and close up shop, that stuff does help you. So make sure to mark that down and keep a tally of everything that you're doing, as well as your interview and essay will help you as well. When I say a GER-HU or a SS elective, I'm really talking about picking a class off of this sheet. So these are those electives you get the chance to take a pick on. So when I say pick an art class, you can take any art class from this box. When I say pick a history humanities class, you have to pick a humanities history from this box, which I colored blue on here for you to see. So make sure to be following this sheet. Again, it has Milwaukee and Parkside. If you're taking just Parkside humanities courses, you run the risk of them not coming in the way we want them to for Milwaukee. All right. So are there any questions at this time regarding anything I went over? You can turn off your mic and talk, or you can mention it in the chat. Otherwise, I will proceed. Okay. I'll take it as everyone understanding. So CNA, I talked about volunteering and campus leadership. All of these things are pretty important. They go hand in hand, and stuff you can be doing now. If you want to take a screenshot of this next slide, that'll be important. If you want to join SNAP, they're always accepting new members. The next meeting is March 8th, followed by April 19th, and they have a bake sale. So if you just want to go support SNAP, you can either bake something for the bake sale, which also would look as great as involvement with SNAP on your application. And additionally, you can also sit and table at the bake sale as well. One of the biggest things I encourage you to do is, as you're volunteering, as you're seeking out ways to be involved, have a notebook. Have this notebook, have a Microsoft Word document on your computer, and every time you go do something, write the date, a little blurb about what you did, who you helped, as well as contact information, date, time, all of that information. Because when you go to apply to the professional program, and maybe those who just applied may realize as well that it's hard to remember exactly everything that you did. And it's important to make sure you know everything you do because it does matter. So that's just one of my biggest tips is like draw out a list. Some upcoming events that I love to encourage is the internship and career fair. We usually have Aurora, Fredert, All Saints. They all come on table at these events. So this spring one is going to be held at Carthage like it typically is, as well as the summer employment fair, which will be down at Parkside on April 18th. So these are just some events to kind of keep your eyes out on campus. Make sure to read your emails about them. But I do really encourage these, especially to start networking within the area. All right. I don't want to waste too much time because if you may have noticed, I did have my panelists come up. But if you're needing any extra help with the tutoring center, that's something that to attend. Do not be afraid of your professors. Make sure to be going to your office hours. It's important for them to know your name. It's important for them to know how you're struggling or what you could use more clarification on. So definitely talk to them and also attend any SI sessions or tutoring or open labs that they may be offering. And with a lot going on in the world, as always, I feel like we can't just get past everything, even as COVID has dwindled a little bit. And the Student Health and Counseling Center is here for you. So it's free for you to attend if you're having a lot of stuff on your plate, which I know life can be heavy sometimes. So make sure to take care of yourself mentally as well as physically. So I'm very excited to introduce our panelists, but before I do, I want to make sure you guys know that if you apply to the professional program and if you get accepted or even waitlisted, make sure you attend that I'm in Now What meeting in April. I don't have a date yet, but I will most likely have it in the next month or so. So keep an eye out for this email. And this is an event that you do not want to miss. It's going to be in person and it's going to go over everything you need. So all of your Castle Branch, background check, drug test, all of those items I will go over with you. So I welcome my student panelist, Sydney Swanson. I, as always, am going to go ahead and stop the recording and I will leave the room for a moment. So if you guys wouldn't mind turning on your cameras and just having a conversation with Sydney, asking her any questions, she'll monitor the chat about her progress. She is a junior in the professional major and one of my secretly favorite students. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and I'll be leaving here shortly.